Good morning children. This video is for class 1 students and the subject is computer. So just you open your book, computer book. I have shown here in your screen computer application in school volume 1, means it is for class 1. Now this is your first online class after the first terminal examination. So now we have to focus on our second terminal examination. So let's start with lesson number 4. In first terminal examination we have just completed lesson number 3. Now we are going to start with lesson number 4. If you open your book, lesson number 4, in page number 24, if you look at on the screen, then you can see page number 24. The name of this chapter is does and don'ts. Does means क्या हम कर सकते हैं, and don'ts what we cannot do, what we can do and what we cannot do. So what we can do in the sense of computer and what we cannot do in the sense of computer we have to learn. So let's start with this chapter. First of all, I have written here the date. It is 15th of September and it is the first video, so I have written here part 1. Children, after knowing something about the computer, would you like to go to the computer lab and work with it? In previous chapters, we have learned more things about the computer. Now it is the time to go for the lab practice in the computer lab. But nowadays you are not going to school, so you have to do this practice in your computer in your house. Are you ready to go to the computer lab? Yes, all of us are ready to go to the computer lab. Now what we have to do in the computer lab? Before going the computer lab, you have to keep in mind some important instructions and you have to also follow all those instructions before entering the computer lab. So let's start what is given here in your book. But keep in mind to do the following things when you enter the computer lab. These are the different instructions given in your book. You have to follow before going to the computer lab. The first one, take off your shoes outside the computer lab because dust carried by shoes is harmful for the computers. If you look at in the picture, you can see one girl is sitting here outside the computer lab and she is just take out her shoes. So also you have to take off your shoes outside the computer lab because in your shoes you are carrying so many dust and this dust will enter with you inside the computer lab and it will be harmful for your computer. That's why you have to open your shoes outside the computer lab. This is the first instructions which you have to follow. The next one is, make sure that your hands are clean and dry before using the computer. So before using the computer, you have to just clean your hand and dry it with towel so that you can use your computer safely. This is the second instruction. The next one is, it is our third instruction here, maintain the correct posture while sitting in front of the computer. So if you look at in your picture, it is given here one person is sitting in front of the computer and this is the posture. You have to just sit straight in your chair and you can do your work. This is the correct position to sit in front of the computer while doing your work. So this is the third instruction which you can see in your book. It is in page number 25. The first instruction, it is take off your shoes outside the computer lab because dust carried by shoes is harmful for the computer. So before entering the computer lab, you have to just open your shoes outside the lab. The second instruction which we have learned, that make sure that your hands are clean and dry before using the computer. So before using the computer, you have to clean and dry your hand. This is the second instruction. Now the third one, maintain the correct posture while sitting in front of the computer. So this is the correct position to sit in front of the computer, so that you can do your work in your computer lab with the computer very easily. The next one, just turn your book page number 26. The next instruction is given here. This is the fourth one. Cover the computers with dust covers after finishing your work. While doing your work, you have to open the dust cover, and after completing your work, you have to just put the dust cover on your computer, so that the dust or any thing cannot be harm your computer. And this is the last instruction which you have to follow before using the computer. That one is, cover the computers with dust cover after finishing your work. So once again, I am going to remind you what are the different instructions which you have to follow while using the computer. First one, it is your first one, take off your shoes outside the computer lab, because dust carried by shoes is harmful for the computer. Next one, it is your number 2, make sure that your hands are clean and dry before using the computer. Number 3, it is maintain the correct posture while sitting in front of the computer. This is the third instruction which you have to follow. The next one is, it is number 4. Number 4, cover the computers with dust cover after finishing your work. So these are the different instructions which you have to follow before using the computer or before going to the inside the computer lab. And in next class, we are going to learn about what we have to not do inside the computer lab. As you can see that the name of this chapter is does and don'ts. So today itself we have learned this part. It is your does part, what we have to do before entering the computer lab and after doing the work. The another part of this chapter is don't, means what you have not supposed to do inside the computer lab. So all these things which are comes under this don't part, we are going to learn in the next class. So till that, thank you and have a nice day.